Well, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, September 3rd, and I will be hosting today's Hangout. Paul, he's on hiatus. He'll probably be returning to us tomorrow morning, I'd imagine. I know he had some things going on and personal things, so if he wants to fill you in on why he's not here today, tomorrow when he rejoins us, he will do so. But I just want to welcome everybody to the call and thank you for everybody that's showing up. You know, it's said that 80% of success is just showing up. So if you're here watching this IBO, Swiss Global IBO training hangout number 24, then congratulate yourself because 80% of success is just showing up. So you made it. Yeah, you know, today is the start of it's the third day, and we're starting a new month. It's the middle of a fresh week. And I like to really reflect at the beginning of every month and the beginning of every week, for that matter, about time and how quickly time seems to move. You know, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and as a father of children, you know, time is something that I take a lot of notice in. You know, there's only so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, so many weeks in a month, and so many months in a year, and there's a lot of important things that I have going on in my life that I need to accomplish that, you know, time is very precious, and it's, you know, for me, I reflect on that especially at the beginning of each month, because I'll look back at what I accomplished as far as my personal goals and goals that I have set for my business. You know, what did I set out to accomplish in August? And here we are, beginning of September. Do I have to pick up some of the last month's slack so that I can be where I need to be at the end, you know, of this quarter? So, you know, we're, you know, in the last month of the third quarter. I always have a sense of urgency about the things I do. I always have that sense in my mind that, hey, you know, time is limited. Being an entrepreneur and a single father, you know, every minute counts, and I have to make every single moment of the day count. And a lot of times, there's things that I have to do that I might not feel like doing. And that kind of sets us up for what I want to talk about today, which, as we do each morning on these Hangouts, is just do a basic reiteration of what we talked about on our Swiss Global training phone call that we do each and every morning at 7 with our mentor, Jeff Fagan. I invite anyone that would like to participate in that call to go ahead and send me an email at, you could use twpproperties@gmail.com, and I'll connect with you and let you know how to be a participant in those amazing phone calls with Jeff Fagan. He's just an unbelievable mentor. But the point I was going to get into here was something that Jeff brought up, and he talked about a W. Clemens Stone this morning, who was a benefactor and a manager and wrote a book together with Napoleon Hill. And the reason that Jeff brought him up this morning, I'm not completely familiar with his work, but I know enough of what Jeff talked about this morning to definitely share with you my take on the subject. But he discussed the behavioral school of psychology. And basically, the point of that Jeff made in bringing that up this morning, hold on, I need to take a sip of coffee. I've been running around with children all morning. So basically is that, you know, if you want to feel a certain way, I want to feel happy, I want to feel motivated, I want to feel enthusiastic. Well, sometimes you don't always feel that way, and that's the way you want to be feeling. So sometimes you have to act in spite of how you feel, and if you act the way you want to feel, well, then the feeling will follow. I know from personal experience that this mindset, this behavioral school of psychology mindset, absolutely works. Absolutely. Just this morning, my alarm went off at 5:30. I had been on vacation for a couple days because of Labor Day, and my sleep schedule is all screwed up. And I know that in order to accomplish what I need to get done this in the morning, 5:30, if I'm not out of bed by 5:30, my day's shot. I'm going to be running late for everything, including these training calls, which is a huge part of my day when I can be on these. I got to bed a little bit late last night, and lo and behold, the alarm goes up at 5:30. I didn't feel like getting out of bed. I didn't feel the motivation. And the first thing my mind did was start to try to give me all the reasons why I should just hit the snooze button. Hey, reset the alarm for 6 o'clock, You could get the kids ready in 20, 30 minutes and be out the door and yada, 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 all that chatter. You know what I'm talking about, people, that background chatter, that lower self that tries to talk you out of the things you need to do because maybe you just, you really don't feel like doing them. So if I was to kind of sit there and lay in bed and wait to feel the motivation, wait to feel the enthusiasm about getting up at 5:30 after not having gotten to bed till about 3 o'clock, I would have been laying in bed. I'd still be laying in bed. I would still be laying in bed right now if I was waiting to feel like getting out of bed this morning. So with that being said, I wanted to feel that enthusiasm and I wanted to feel that motivation. So you know what you have to do is just act as if. Act as if I felt great. The mind, the warrior part of the mind, the part that makes you act in spite of these things, that's something that's so important to tap into, especially in the first 5 minutes of your day. There's a quote, I don't know who said this, but a lot of successful people that I personally have spoken to and personally know and authors that I've read, and this is a great point that's reiterated throughout Greg Reed's book, 3 Feet from Gold, which is just a fantastic read. I'm actually on it for the second time, is that your first 5 minutes upon awakening determine your attitude for the rest of the day, right? So if you wake up not feeling so enthusiastic, not feeling so motivated to get out of bed, well, if you wait for those feelings to come, you won't feel enthusiastic and motivated about anything all day long. You've got to jump out of bed. You've got to get your warrior self, your inner self, your powerful, stronger self to kind of kick your own ass, kick that ego that you're stuck in all the time, the lower self, that chit-chat of just talking you out of the things you need to do, and you need to kick its ass and tell it to get out of bed. And, that first 5 minutes of the day is so important to just jump up and get into the warrior energy and act in spite of how you feel. And, if that determines your attitude for the day and you can accomplish that in the first 5 minutes and you're not like everybody else, 98% of the people out there just hitting snooze button, I mean, you're already off to a great start of your day. And that's, kind of what I took out of what Jeff talked about on our training call this morning, is the point that, you've got to act how you want and act the way it is you want to feel, and the feelings will follow. And you know what? Got up, got my kids, got my routine done this morning, and here I am, 8:15. I'm only on 2.5 hours of sleep. I've got plenty of sleep on my vacation, but I feel fantastic. I feel good because I know that I have that little confidence boost, and now I am enthusiastic about my day. And then that confidence boost I got was from, talking myself out of just hitting snooze and laying there for another 30 minutes. So, every time you take a step in the right direction and you can get into your warrior energy and get yourself to act in spite of a fear, in spite of a mood, in spite of a feeling, you gain yourself confidence points. You gain a sense of well-being and accomplishment. And that is so important to your very being, is that you do things like that build up your confidence points. So that's one of the things that Jeff talked about this morning a little bit, was the behavioral school and, taking actions, and the feelings shall follow. I hope another thing that people who are watching this and you do on a regular basis, especially if you're doing a training, or maybe you're listening to someone such as myself talk about concepts of self-development or business growth, that you carry around one of these and one of these, a notebook and a pen. That's one of the things that my mentor, Jeff Fagan, has, really pounded into my head since I met him 2 years ago, is that you want to be taking notes daily. It's another concept that's running out throughout the book, 3 Feet from Gold by Greg Reed, that I mentioned earlier, is, take notes, because your mind forgets 70% of what comes in, goes right back out. And if you get in the habit of taking notes, throughout the day, hey, that's a good idea. That I'm in a conversation with my buddy Paul, and he says something that I'm like, you know what, dude, that's a great thought. I got a pen and a paper. I'm gonna write that down. That's fantastic. Or, throughout the day, you might be, your $1 million idea may come into your mind, and it's just a small idea, and you're like, man, if I can really develop this, I could make millions. I'll write it down later when I get home. I'll think about it later when I get home tonight from my job, or from my business meeting, or I'm out on the road. No, you have a pen and a paper, and take the note immediately. I mean, that is, getting into the habit of taking notes has changed my life, because I can look back through my notes at any point during the day and just tap into these great ideas that I've had, or that I picked up from other people in conversation. So that's a great habit to get into. And that's not really, for most people, even that easy to do. And that comes down to another point I'd like to make today, is think about the word commitment. And what are you willing to commit to get to success? And I'm not talking about just making money. That's part of success, and that's one of the fruits. But to me, success encompasses a lot of things. It's about, kind of 4 main areas. The mental side of things, feeling good mentally, feeling mentally awake, feeling part of the world that you're living in. You've got an awareness, you've got a willingness to learn and to grow. Mental health, that's one of them. Another one, of course, is your physical body. It's so important to eat healthy food and to exercise daily, even if it's 10 jumping jacks. I don't know. Then of course there is the spiritual side of life. I think it's important, and even Napoleon Hill says it, is to tap into something spiritual and get tapped into a higher self, or the belief or an attitude of gratitude towards a higher being. And then the fourth, of course, is finances. Those 4 things to me encompass success. And I break it down this way: are you happy? Are you healthy? Are you feeling spiritual? And are you wealthy? I mean, those is what I mean when I say success. It's kind of an embodiment of all those things. But you need to make a commitment to each one of those areas of your life. And it really is a daily commitment that needs to be made, So, when it comes to the health of your body, it's so easy to, when you feel a craving for food, to just go grab the nearest thing, which is a fast food restaurant. For 98% of the people out there, that's, if I got no food in my fridge and I want to eat in the next 5 minutes and just satisfy an urge or a craving, I don't even have to jump in the car. I can walk. I can be to a Taco Bell in 5 minutes of walking, a McDonald's across the street from there, or Wendy's across the street from there, and just indulge in anything. But it takes a commitment to say, you know what, I'm going to, walk past it, maybe go to the supermarket, and grab myself an apple, a banana, and an avocado, and skip the cheeseburger today. That's kind of what I'm talking about. It's the same thing in your financial life, your spiritual life, and your mental health life. You've got to make a commitment to these things. You've got to make a commitment to get better. And I see, geez, I'm already at 8:20, and I barely scratched the surface of actually where I wanted to take this. My mind tends to wander, and I get into a topic, and I just want to spill it all out, what I'm thinking about these things. But I guess what I want to wrap up today, and just hopefully this is something that you can take away from here, is 3 things to think about throughout your day-to-day. Number 1 is, how can I know how I want to feel. Most people know how they want to feel. Most people say, I want to feel happy, I want to feel enthusiastic, I want to feel motivated. Well, that's great. But don't wait for those 3 things, or don't wait for those feelings to come. Act as if you already feel that way. I mean, I know it might sound, for me, that was a hard thing that I spent almost the first 30 of my life doing. And I'd love to get into this a little bit of how I conquered depression. I was depressed for 10 years and wanting to feel happy, wanting to feel more connected to my relationships. And the difference came when I realized that, I've got to just act in spite of. And once I just acted and the feelings starting to follow, for lack of a better term, I fucking conquered depression, man. And I say the F word to just really drive home enthusiastically about how important it is to just act in spite of. And you know what? You want to feel a certain way? Act as if you already feel that way. And those feelings, they will follow you. They will follow those actions. So take that away from today. Also, I think, looking into W. Clement Stone and the behavioral psychology, the behavioral school of psychology. Also, I talked about how important it is to start taking notes, even about feelings, take notes about how you feel about certain actions that you take, and then take a look at, like, wow, when I take this action, it makes me feel this way. I feel bad when I do that. Well, maybe it's time to change that action to something more positive that makes you feel good when you look back at what you've been doing. So taking notes, that's another thing that's so important and critical to success. And then I just basically kind of touched on 4 areas of your life that you really need to commit to making a change and making a effort in increasing, and that's your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual awareness, and of course your finances. And I kind of think that your financial life is a printout of what's going on inside, which is the mental and the spiritual. And what's going on physically with your body is kind of a printout about what's going on in here. So what I would encourage everybody to act in spite of their feelings, and those feelings will follow that you wish to achieve. Take notes. Here's a little homework. Maybe start today. Say, I'm going to commit myself today to buying the notebook and buying the pen, and make some little journals about actions that you take and how certain actions that you're taking throughout the day make you feel good. And then tonight, read it, and be honest with yourself. If you're doing something, maybe for me, if it's gorging out on a pizza, like I buy a whole pizza, I know I shouldn't even be eating that crap, but I'm going to have a slice today, and I buy a pie, and next thing you know, you eat 3-4 slices. That make you feel like crap? Be honest with yourself. That made me feel like crap. That when you realize that certain actions you're taking are making you feel badly, you'll want to eliminate them. And that's part of building self-confidence. And you know what? We are out of time. Get in your warrior modes, people. Listen to your inner self. Create a habit of jumping out of bed and acting enthusiastic, and you'll feel that way. I'll close this out as we always do with the Napoleon Hill prayer, which goes, "O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches you gave me at birth, and the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever ends I might desire." All right, Go out, make it a great week. Thanks for listening to me, and we all look forward to seeing Paul back on this call tomorrow, hopefully in good health. All right? Thank you.